Yo, 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 what it do now? Jokesta, bye. Yeah, no mind. Back again. Controversial conversation. I'm grateful to be here with y'all. So, last week, we spoke a little bit about these thoughts that I had when it came to, do you really want your politician or the candidate that you send to Capitol Hill or City Hall? Like, do you want them to fight for you? Or do you just want them to take their ass to work, bruh? Like, that's it. Like I elected you as a public official to go do a damn job. Stop fighting. This ain't the UFC. This ain't the Octagon. This ain't WWE. Stop with the political theater, the political wrestling, and just get your bum ass to work, right? Okay. Had to get that out. Sorry, y'all. Political season does something to my mind. I don't know what it is. But anyways, I want to talk about something else. Something that we don't normally really get a chance to address, but is constantly being spoken about, right? And that's the revolution. You know, my dog, Gil Scott-Heron, may he rest in peace. Not my dog, but the godfather of hip-hop said, the revolution will not be televised. Nowadays, we say the revolution will not be live streamed, but what it really means is that you are not prepared for the revolution, in all honesty. Killer Mike, he has this video that I saw, probably about 2-3 years, I can't really recall, but essentially what he's telling these black people in the crowd, and I guess he's kind of speaking to black America, but he's saying, y'all ain't ready for the revolution. Y'all ain't ready for shit. Y'all don't know how to hunt. Y'all don't know how to fish. Y'all don't know how to defend yourself. You ain't at the target range. You won't know how to farm. You don't know how to do any of this stuff. Like if the cell phone stopped working, if the Wi-Fi wasn't there no more, if you couldn't Bluetooth some shit, what you gonna do? Essentially was the message. And it made a lot of sense. And he's saying that there's a lot that goes into preparation when you are going to break from society. And there's a lot of other reasons why I don't think that we are technically ready for the revolution right now. And the main reason, and I think a lot of y'all are going to agree, is that we're not ready to see dead, bloody bodies in the streets. Like, that's not something that we're ready for, right? Like, that is going to happen. You got to understand, during these revolutionary wars, there are bloody bodies in the streets. People constantly dying for the fight, because this is a fight for freedom, a fight for liberty, a fight for justice, a fight for ideals. You are trying to sculpt society into the image that you believe it should be, and you are willing and ready to die for that. And that is why revolutions are bloody, and that is why I do not truly think that a lot of us are prepared for a real revolution, no matter how revolutionary radical we may be. I do not truly believe a lot of us are ready for that. I do think there are some that are like, hey, let's ride at dawn type shit, but I think for the majority, it's going to take a little bit longer to get the consciousness elevated to that level. But the other reasons that you might find obstacles in moving forward with the revolution are because we can't essentially get onto the same level. We can't think together about these issues. And I found there's like 3 real main groups when it comes to progressing, you know what I'm saying, society forward. There might be other ones in other political theory, but right now I just want to talk about 3 main ones, and one of them really doesn't even matter, as always, because they never matter. But anyways, that's the conservative line of thinking, and it's like, you know, we don't really need to move forward. We don't really need to progress. Like, they are the antithesis of progressives and progressing, so they think that we should stay where we're at, or, as in modern times, and very, very, very modern times, I say the past 6-7 years probably, they're under the impression that America was better prior and that we should go make it great again, right? So that's where you kind of see them lining up. They're very, very staunch in their belief that the traditional norms, the things that we hold on to dearly, the American exceptionalism, not patriotism, but nationalism, because, you know, we spoke about that before. Patriotism means, hey, I love my country, but we can work on it. Nationalism, like, hey, my country's the greatest fucking country, and if you say something wrong about it, you need to get the hell out of here and go back to where you came from. There's a difference, right? And a lot of that tends to align itself with this conservative movement nowadays. But yes, that is the antithesis to progress. That is also the antithesis to a real revolution. But we're not going to talk about them today. We're going to talk about these other two groups. And the first group is what we call the incrementalists. And these are people kind of liberal, kind of moderate, kind of centrist, but they do understand, though, that they abide by a status quo, that sometimes that status quo is not the best for everybody. You will hear them use words like diversity and inclusion and inclusivity and, all of those kind of things. Excuse me. So when we talk about incrementalists, we're talking about people who believe that the system has to be worked within really, really delicately, because even though that there are these injustices and there's these issues and there's these problems, we can rectify them by using the same systems that we have in place, and we can keep those systems intact, but we can change certain things. We can, dismantle certain cultures within there. And, it's a very, very admirable attempt. And at the end of this, I'm going to tell you exactly where I land when it comes to where we're at, incrementalists or this other group. But they're very, very incrementally involved in trying to make change at a small level, step by step. You will see these people as a Joe Biden or as a Kamala Harris or as those type of Democrats, or even very, very liberal, progressive type Republicans. Or the younger, Republican groups. Some of them are a little, they don't really care too much about the social issues. They're more so into the political things. So you might hear it more so from those kind of people. But the other group, now this is the accelerationists. These are the people who believe that, hey, fuck it, let's tear it down right now. Let's tear this bitch down, and we're going to build that bitch up in the ashes of the phoenix types. Nah, I'm a little dramatic, but not really, because they sometimes use violent, they sometimes use non-violent ways, sometimes terrorism, sometimes all kinds of, crazy, I don't even really have a word for it, but it can get very extreme on the accelerationist side, because you're attempting to accelerate the revolution. So you do what you got to do. Sometimes there's, misinformation through propaganda to instill fear and anger into people to get them to move faster towards the common goal that you want. I mean, guerrilla warfare. There's a lot of things that go into accelerationism. And I think that there's not as many people that are truly on that side. But those are also the same people that align with what I told you earlier. There's a small select few that are ready to just ride at dawn at any given moment. They don't care about the bloody bodies in the street. They have a goal and they are willing to fight and die for it. Those more so align with the accelerationists. And they can be extreme on the other side, because as you know, you can be very, very radically left or very, very, very extreme right. Radical left, you go, anarchy or, all those type of really, really deep left-leaning, radicalized thought perspectives. I don't want to just say communism and stuff like that, but those are very, very extreme left-leaning things, or, the ultra-radical feminists, or, those kind of movements, stuff like that. Or on the right, the autocracy, theocracies, oligarchies, all of those kind of things, tend to lead into that kind of power struggle or power structure on the right when it comes to extremism. So all I want to really say is, when it comes to the revolution, you got to really understand, where do you stand on that fence? Are you on the accelerationist? Are you on the incrementalist? Are you even a conservative? Are you like, hey, maybe we're not really needing to change things that much? I don't believe that. And like I told you, I will tell you where I stand. I stand somewhere between incrementalist and accelerationist, because at times I truly, no, it's not a cop-out. Yes, at times I truly believe that we need to burn down certain institutions ASAP. When it comes to the Justice Department, there is no reason it should be ran the way that it is. When it comes to the Education Department, when it comes to certain departments, I don't really understand, how ineffective they are, how negligent they are, and sometimes how malicious they are. HUD programs like that, just there's issues there that I think need to be rectified without even waiting, right? But I think there's other things that need to take time, like the way that our economic system is set up. I do believe that capitalism is reaching its late stages, and I do think that there has to be something post that, and I do have ideas on what that should be. But I also understand that there's way too many mechanisms in place right now to just shut it off. So you have to take time to really decelerate what is going on with this capitalistic, movement in the United States. Because the United States is still an experiment, right? This is still an experiment that we're trying to call it the melting pot, because everybody then assimilated from all over this motherfucker, and here we are trying to make it work. And that's why it doesn't at times, but that's why it does at times, because that's the best thing about humans, right? Because no matter where we truly come from, there are certain things that we are all universally into, whether it is love, whether it is trying to find purpose, whether it is trying to just understand why we are here and what we can do to be better or worse. Who knows? I don't. But what I do know is that Controversial Conversation is here to figure out those crazy concepts, those really awe-inspiring things that we think about. That is what Controversial Conversation is here for. And if you're here for that, I need you to like, I need you to subscribe, I need you to comment, and we gonna start this community. But until then, I got nothing but love for y'all, and I need y'all to do two things. As always, I need y'all to be good, and I need y'all to be great. One love. Jokesta Bay.